Basic income is ungodly. Redistribution of wealth is ungodly. Giving money to people who aren't working is ungodly. What that means is when we sent checks to everybody during COVID, it was ungodly. When we just took a bunch of guys who weren't going to pay off their college loans and just gave them money, it was ungodly. If anything, we should have found a way to tell guys who have college debt, hey, why don't you work and then you can earn money? Crazy idea. They didn't teach you that at college. And then you can pay off your debt.
One of the things we're going to do, we're going to issue a dividend to our middle income people and lower income people of about $2,000. And we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing. So we're doing a lot of good work. The numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs. And so if that were ever reversed, it would be a disaster.
Now, isn't that interesting? That according to that conservative preacher there, that to give people money is considered to be an ungodly thing. Yet, is that what's happening? Is that what President Trump is saying with the tariff money? Now, we all know that there most likely will never be a $2,000 check that is sent to people. We know that that's most likely untrue, especially since he has allocated so much of the money from the tariffs to so many other different programs. He's claimed that he utilized the tariff money to be able to pay for the military. He's claiming that he's utilized this tariff money to help out farmers. Now, the fact of the matter is, not enough tariff money has been accumulated in order to facilitate the things that he is speaking about. So where does that leave the $2,000? It leaves it as a feel-good distraction for most people in America. You're not going to get this $2,000. But this is how Christians operate. This Christian conservative is saying that, hey, the poor, fuck them. The unemployed, fuck them too. We shouldn't be giving money away. That's ungodly. Doesn't that go against the Bible saying that we should take care of the widows and the orphans? Does that also go against the idea of how Leviticus speaks of an indentured servant, a fellow Israelite to fellow Israelite, that if they find themselves in a negative debt situation, that they can then work for someone for 7 years. But in the 7th year of Jubilee, not only are they to be set free from their toil, but they are also to be given land, given provisions, and given an opportunity so that they can continue to provide for themselves, meaning that they're given a donkey or an ox or whatever is necessary for them to be able to continue to work. So the fact that he says it's not biblical actually goes against what the Bible says. But what does this pastor count on? This pastor counts on the fact that most Christians have not read their Bible, and most Christians don't understand their Bible. The character of Jesus told the rich young ruler, after he asked him, have you followed all the commandments? The rich young ruler proclaimed that he had followed all the commandments. And he said, hey, rich young ruler, give away all that you have to the poor, to the widows, to the orphans, and then follow me. That is what your Jesus claimed that he did. That is the parable that he is talking about. Does that sound like something that this pastor is speaking of? We know it is not true. That's what he's not doing what Jesus had instructed. And when we look at the parable of the prodigal son, did the prodigal son come back and his father say, well, yeah, I'm going to put you out there with our laborers and I'm going to make you work and I'm going to make you do this or that and the third? No. He brought him right back into the home. He brought him right back into the wealth of his family. Joseph, when he became this so-called second-tier leader in Egypt, when his family came in, did he provide for them? Did he give them land to go live in Goshen? Did he make sure that during the 7 years of famine, that all the king's cattle were being taken care of by his family members? Well, he did that in the 7 years of feast. But in the 7 years of famine, when he stole from the Egyptian people by selling them back the grain that he had taken from them in a tax, he sold it back to them for money. And he made sure it took care of his family up in Goshen. He then took their cattle And so by selling them back their grain, he took their cattle and then he gave it to his family to manage for the king, for the Pharaoh up in Goshen. And in every instance, when they became slaves, when the Egyptians became slaves because they did not have land because Joseph had taken their land, he had taken their cattle, he had taken all their money, and they only had themselves as slaves to be given. According to this story, Joseph ensured that his family was taken care of. Did they work for the extra cattle? No. Did they work for the extra money? No. Did they work for the extra slaves? No. They worked for none of these things. They were given these things simply through nepotism. So the Bible demonstrates that through all kinds of nefarious negotiations, you are to take care of your own people. Remember, you can tax and charge interest to those who are not of your clan. But for those of your clan, you're not supposed to tax. So the fact that we're taxing our citizens, that is considered ungodly. But what is considered godly according to the Bible, other than nepotism, is that you do take care of the widows, you take care of the orphans, you take care of the poor, that you take the wealth from the wealthy and you disperse it amongst the poor. And of course, there is the contradiction of render unto Caesar what is Caesar when Jesus had to pay taxes. But he wasn't paying taxes to his own people. He was paying taxes to a foreign government that had control of his land and his people. So when you see these two people up here, one saying one message and another one giving another message, know that neither one of them want to give money to the poor or give money to people in the middle class to give them a dividend on the tariffs. Neither wants to do that. It's all great sound bites. And this pastor is merely stating things that he feels his political party is in support of, not what his Bible is actually in support of. This is why many people deconstruct from Christianity, because we see the hypocrisy within the religion. We see men and women standing on stages claiming to have powers and claiming to have visions and things of this nature and stance of morals that they've gained from this God and gained from this book. But every time almost they go against what their own book says, and they go against what is morally right to do for people, to do for a country, to do for a world. This is why we walk away from Christianity. This is why we deconstruct. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.